Ah, yes, those crazy Democrats. What happened to them anyway? They used to be more or less normal, kinda. Now, not so normal at all. I've got a couple of Democrat senators for you. The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, testifying on Capitol Hill yesterday. And we got Mazie Hirono. Mazie Hirono, funny name, and not a bright woman, not a smart woman. And then another crazy Democrat. They have these senators that nobody even knows. Even in Washington, nobody knows them. Elissa Slotkin, a Michigan Democrat, attacking Pete Hegseth yesterday. Oh, yeah, Mark Esper had more guts and more balls than you. I'm sorry, lady, this is, you're a United States senator. Hegseth should have gone up and punched her. Should have gone up and just, throw a bucket of something on her. These Democrats, they're a wacky bunch. Wonder why Democrats are, like Hamdan terrorizing a Jewish Republican member of Congress on the roads, and why an illegal alien in Albany is chasing the U.S. attorney there down the street with a knife, threatening to slash his throat. And the news media, that means the Democrats, they just whistle past that graveyard. They don't care at all. That's what's going on in the United States of America, because they're turning us into a third world country. The left is the third world. The left takes over a country, any country. That country becomes a third world hellhole. I'll try to keep it clean over there. But the Democrat Party, they have normalized political violence. And against members of Congress, Donald Trump shot, and Congressman Steve Scalise shot, and trying to massacre an entire baseball field of Republican members of Congress. Got Democrats with guns and Chick-fil-A sandwiches attacking the Family Research Council. Democrats sending, when they deployed the National Guard to Washington, D.C., because Ashley Babbitt had been shot and killed by a merciless, ruthless, racist U.S. Capitol Police officer, Thomas Byrd, who the Democrats celebrated. They became the champions of the Democrat member of the U.S. Capitol Police that shot and killed a 12-year U.S. Air Force veteran. And the Democrats celebrated that. Then they called out the National Guard. And they had the National Guard here through Inauguration Day, January 6th, and Inauguration Day, January 20th. And then we still had the National Guard on the streets of D.C. 6 months later in the middle of June, when Democrats were having pizzas delivered to our National Guardsmen laced with shards of broken glass, because they broke up a glass or bottle and put the shards of glass in the melted cheese of the pizza that was delivered to the guardsmen. And that was no big deal, because the Democrats, they're fine with that. And their news media, they don't cover the news. Aren't they amazing? Yes, they are. Truly an amazing bunch. Not in a good way. Amazing, yes. In a good way, no. Not good people. These people. Man, oh, Manischewitz, I am telling you. All right, let's get to these lunatic Democrats, because not the drag show in the Oregon State House, where they did have a drag show in the Oregon State House, but let me get to the hearing on Capitol Hill yesterday, because Democrat Senator Mazie Hirono of Hawaii, decided to go after the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, before we even get to this other crazy Democrat. But let me start with this, because Mazie Hirono, not a bright woman, not an intelligent woman, and then Elissa Slotkin. But let's start with Democrat Senator Mazie Hirono talking to the Secretary of Defense, a decorated combat veteran, and they love the idea that they are the victims of every story. And Donald Trump, because, again, The Democrats had the National Guard occupying Washington, D.C. for 6 months, sending them glass shard-laced pizzas when the young guardsmen ordered a pizza to be delivered to them where they were. I believe they were sleeping in a concrete parking garage, underground parking garage. They had their pizza delivered, and they fortunately discovered that the Democrats had laced the pizza with shards of broken glass. And that was June, 6 months into the military occupation by the fascist Joe Biden and their Nazi forces, right? And you may remember Mazie Hirono, who's not very good at anything, but she is, oh, yeah, you're the defense secretary. We have National Guard troops where all the Democrats are rioting and burning and looting and sacking and plundering and violently attacking everybody. And so the National Guard was called up. And now the Democrats are like, well, are you going to order the Guard troops to start shooting American protesters who are peacefully protesting? And Senator Mazie Hirono.
If ordered by the president, I'm going to ask you once again, to shoot peaceful protesters in the legs, would you carry out such an order from the president?
Absolutely.
Senator, as I've said before, of course, I reject the premise of your question and the characterization that I would be given or are given unlawful orders. It's all meant to attempt to smear the commander-in-chief, and I won't fall for it.
Considering that the president in his first term actually ordered such a thing, it is not a premise that you can reject. He can order it, do the same thing. So you're, again, I think you would just follow what the president wants you to do.
The senator said that President Trump actually ordered the U.S. military to start shooting peaceful protesters. That's what she said. She should be gassed. Well, at least like that lady in the grocery store with flatulence. You know, that you saw the lady in the grocery store with all that, right? Isn't that amazing? Given that he actually did it, you see. Now, what she's talking about is the former short-time Secretary of Defense under President Trump in his first term as president, Mark Esper, says Trump asked, this is the radical left-wing taxpayer-funded NPR Democrat Party front group, former Pentagon chief says Esper, right, says Trump asked about shooting protesters. He asked about shooting protesters. And Mazie Hirono converted that to he issued the order to shoot protesters, right? And former Secretary of Defense Mark Esper said President Donald Trump inquired about shooting protesters amid the unrest, that is the coast-to-coast Democrat Party violent riots and the arson and the sacking and looting and plundering police department, police stations and federal courthouses, and dozens were killed, thousands were injured, billions in property damage. President Trump was talking to the Secretary of Defense, and he asked a question. And then Mazie Hirono converted that to, well, he's already issued the order to shoot peaceful protesters. That's what she said. But Mark Esper, he recounts that incident and many others in his wide-ranging interview with NPR. Right. They've got a show, Some Things Considered, it's called. Esper said he stayed in the administration because he worried that if he left, the president would be, it would be easier to implement some of his dangerous ideas. Now, maybe you should listen if he's asking a question and you're supposed to be providing him with thoughtful information. That might be your role there. I'm just thinking. So he asked a question about it, and then the Democrat, years later, converts it. And this goes to one of the things I've been saying for years. Democrats take what you've said, they change it until it's not what you've said, and then they attack you for what you didn't say.
The president in his first term actually ordered such a thing?
He actually ordered such a thing. It sounds like a question mark, but she wasn't asking it in question. She wasn't asking questions. She was stating it as though it's fact. In his first term, he actually ordered such a thing, that the military shoot peaceful protesters. Now, that's not true. But that's Democrat senator, and the news media. They're fine with all that. Isn't that amazing? And then we have another senator, another Democrat senator, Elise Slotkin, yesterday, in the same hearing. She's a Democrat from Michigan, and the idea is to get Pete Hegseth and to get Donald Trump and make things up about because they're all mental.
Have you given the order to be able to shoot at unarmed protesters in any way? I'm just asking the question. Don't laugh. Like the whole country. And by the way, my colleagues across the aisle.
What is that based on? What evidence would you have that an order like that has ever been given?
Giving that order to your predecessor, to a Republican Secretary of Defense, who I give a lot of credit to because he didn't accept the order. He had more guts and balls than you because he said, I'm not going to send in the uniformed military to do something that I know in my gut isn't right. He was asked to shoot at their legs. He wrote that in his book. That's not hearsay. So your poo-pooing of this, it just shows you don't understand who we are as a country.
That's what it. Now, again, he is a U.S. Army combat veteran, decorated war zone guy, and he doesn't understand. I'd say, well, Senator, show us your balls. Since you're up here making these insane claims, why don't you stand on the podium over here? Is this the podium where your gay friends were having violent sex on the Senate hearing? I think it was a different hearing room, where they made videos and posted their videos online of the men having sex. And that was Hart 216, the Senate hearing room, I believe. So isn't that amazing? Now, what did the president actually say? Did he say, yeah, damn protesters, shoot them all in the legs? That's not what he said. In fact, even National Panhandler Radio, suckling on the public teat with our tax dollars, Mark Esper, even he said that the president asked because the Democrats were burning Seattle and Portland, Los Angeles, and Kenosha and Washington and Chicago and New York and Atlanta and Miami, and the Democrats were burning the country to the ground. And President Trump was asking questions, and Esper, I think, is not a fan of Donald Trump. I think that would be fair to say. The president was enraged. He thought that the protests, that would be riots, not violent, mostly peaceful protests, Mark Esper, made the country look weak, made us look weak. And us meant him. That's Esper's interpretation, but not what Trump said. And he wanted to do something about it. I wanted to do something about it, too. The Democrats were burning our country to the ground. We reached that point in the conversation when he looked frankly at the General Milley, a thoroughly modern Milley who wants an all-transgender military, and said, can't you just shoot them in the legs or something? And, he's honestly, and it's like, oh, he means it. Yeah, because he's not prone to hyperbole or anything like that. Isn't this amazing? Democrat senator.
Have you given the order? Have you given the order that they can use lethal force against I want the answer to be no. Please tell me it's no. Have you given the order?
Senator, I'd be careful what you read in books and believing it, except for the Bible.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, she says, except for the Bible, and oh, my God is her response. Anybody remember Joe Biden when Joe Biden was president of the United States and he was talking about those terrible, awful, racist police who need to be defunded and going around shooting innocent people? And Joe Biden had some advice for the police across the United States.
We can do this. You can teach people how to de-escalate circumstances. De-escalate. So instead of anybody coming at you and the first thing you do is shoot to kill, you shoot them in the leg.
See? Maybe they were confusing Joe Biden's order with something that President Trump never said behind closed doors, but they change it. Again, the left takes what you've said, they change it till it's not what you've said, then they attack you for what you didn't say. I've been talking about this for years. They've been doing it for years. These are not good people. Don't marry them. For God's sake, don't have conjugal relations with them because monkeypox is their bag baby. The recent bombshell report revealed that the abortion pill is literally 10 times more dangerous than the FDA has said in public testimony, with 11% of women experiencing serious adverse effects from the abortion pill. And horrifyingly, it's also reported the abortion pill is used in more than 60% of abortions in the United States. And with an average of more than 1 million babies being snuffed out by the Democrats every year in the United States, that means that 66,000 women could be permanently harmed by the abortion pill this year alone. This is what the Democrats call health care. Now, let me tell you what real health care looks like. Preborn. The good people at the preborn clinics nationwide, they helped to save more than 67,000 helpless little babies last year. Once a woman sees her baby in an ultrasound, hears the heartbeat, watches the little baby moving around and waving at her, her baby's chance has a very good chance at living a long and happy life. The chance more than doubles. One ultrasound is just $28 American dollars. $140 helps to rescue 5 unborn babies. Any gift will help, and all your gifts are tax deductible, of course. To donate, all you have to do, very simple, dial pound 250, and when prompted, say the keyword baby. That's dialing pound 250, the keyword is baby, or visit Al Gore's amazing internet by going to preborn.com/plant. Plante. That's preborn.com/plant. Yes, sir. Yeah, the Democrats. Yeah. I don't know. You know what they want? They want more Lieutenant Byrds at the Capitol to shoot and kill more Ashley Babbitts. They were happy with that. And then they make things up, things that were never said. But double misinterpretation like the old game telephone. Mark Esper to Mazie Hirono to the news media. Before you know it, well, you know.
Teaching a cop when there's an unarmed person coming at him with a knife or something, shoot him in the leg instead of in the heart.
Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. All right, the Democrats have made musical theater out of the murderer, Luigi Mangione. I want to share that with you. And Hank Johnson. You know Hank Johnson, who thinks that if you put too many Marines on the island of Guam, that Guam might flip over like a Frisbee in a swimming pool. Because, like Ketanji Brown Jackson is not a biologist. He's apparently not a geologist. But Hank Johnson has a guitar. And he's playing his guitar and singing a song. I want to share that with you coming up. Hank Johnson, Music Man. Trouble right here in River City. Hank Johnson, and then Luigi Mangione, the musical. Because the Democrat Party loves murder, while Hank Johnson is singing about, you'll never guess who he's singing about. Who's he singing about, Michael? I know who he's singing about. It's a musical segment coming out. The Democrats, they're very musical people, aren't they? I've got Hank Johnson coming up, trying to sing a song and play a guitar. And then Luigi Mangione, the murderer of the CEO in New York. They've made him into musical theater. That's coming up. Democrat congressman and an intellectual termite, Hank Johnson. He's the guy who said that we were talking about relocating some Marines to the island of Guam, and he expressed concern that if we put too many Marines on one side of the island, that the island might flip over. Because like Ketanji Brown Jackson on the Supreme Court is not a biologist, Hank Johnson is not a geologist. He doesn't know anything about islands.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Capsize. The admiral there looked around like he thought somebody was playing a joke on him. And finally, he said something like, well, Congressman, that's not a concern. He had to say that's not a concern, like he's just showed up in the little bus here, the Democrat. Isn't he amazing? He's also the Democrat who said that he was imagining a world without balloons. Remember The World Without Balloons by Hank Johnson?
Imagine, Mr. Speaker, a world without balloons.
Yeah, imagine a world without balloons. Where would we be? How would we have Pride Month every month? Chris not proud of being an American or anything like that. Now, Hank Johnson, he posted a video of himself. He's got Well, somebody posted it. I'm going to go ahead and bet that he didn't post it himself. But the great people at the Media Research Center, the wonderful MRC, our friend Brent Bozell, the Bozell family at the Media Research Center, they posted a video of Democrat Congressman Hank Johnson from Georgia. And he's released as the Media Research Center puts it on their Twitter account, Democrat Rep. Hank Johnson releases hilariously bad anti-Trump song. And talk about tone deaf. Here is Democrat Congressman Hank Johnson demonstrating one more example of Trump derangement syndrome.
I'm compelled with a new guitar and with some thoughts about that old song, Hey Joe,
Hey Joe,
to give some commentary on where we are now.
Yeah. Donald Trump was shot by a Democrat.
Hey, Trump, where you going with that gun in your hand?
Hey, Trump, where you going with that gun in your hand? Going out to shoot my old lady. Caught her messing around with another man.
Hey, Trump.
Nice voice, nice guitar.
Where you going with that gun in your hand?
Yeah, where you going with that gun in your hand? You guys should stop shooting everybody. Nice guitar.
I'm going down the street and shoot down democracy.
You gotta shoot democracy, not my old lady.
You know I want to be a king someday.
You know I want to be. It's No Kings. They got the No Kings rally going. Mental dwarfism. Now musical dwarfism.
I'm going down and shoot democracy down.
You gotta shoot democracy down.
You know I want to be the king someday.
That's good. That's good stuff. He's, why did he bother going into Congress when he's such a talented musician?
Hey, Donald Trump.
Hey, Donald Trump.
We won't let you take our democracy down. Take it down to the ground.
Take it down to the ground. Saw that coming, didn't you?
Hey, Trump.
Hey, Trump. Not Hey Joe. It's Hey Trump. Clever.
We won't let you take our democracy down.
Yeah.
Burn it down to the ground.
You couldn't stop a kitten from doing whatever a kitten wants to do. There he is. Imagine a world.
Thank you.
Thank you. Imagine a world without music. Right now, I am imagining a world without music, and it sounds like a pretty good idea. Now, because, they love murder. They love, they're the Democrat Party. 4 American presidents have been assassinated. The first 3 were Republican presidents, and then John F. Kennedy assassinated by a communist. And, of course, the Democrat Party today is closer on the political spectrum to Lee Harvey Oswald than they are to John F. Kennedy, who was shot in the head and killed by Lee Harvey Oswald or by the deep state. You decide. Either way, it's the Democrat Party again. Democrat Party again. But they love that. And, of course, Gerald Ford was shot at twice by 2 Democrat women, and Ronald Reagan was shot in the chest and nearly killed, along with his press secretary and a Secret Service agent.
Musical is that founding.
Oops, and a D.C. police officer. But John Hinckley shot Ronald Reagan. John Hinckley is now on the loose because the Democrats want him on the loose. The Democrats gave Sirhan parole also, but Gavin Newsom hasn't let him out of jail yet because he doesn't care what the parole board says. He's a dictator. He's a king. He's Hitler, but with better hair. Although, Hitler had pretty good hair, didn't he? The Socialist Workers' Party, they had good hairstylists. But here's John Hinckley. He's on the loose. Let me go to Variety magazine from 2022. John Hinckley Jr.'s sold-out concert. Sold-out concert. He pretends to play the guitar. He plays about as well as Congressman Hank Johnson. And every time John Hinckley announces he's going to play his guitar somewhere, it sells out immediately. He can't keep enough T-shirts in stock to supply his fans with T-shirts that celebrate John Hinckley, who shot the President of the United States. Democrats wear Che Guevara T-shirts. They wear Mao Zedong T-shirts. The most prolific mass murderer in the history of humanity, Chairman Mao. And, Che Guevara, mass murderer, thousands and thousands. Racist, hated black people, probably hated white people too, because he's a communist and they hate everybody. Yeah. So Fox News 2022, attempted Reagan assassin John Hinckley sells out New York City venue, right? And that's because of Democrats. Democrats are a violent, hate-filled death cult. Now, with that said, the Luigi Mangione, Luigi Mangione, he shot and killed, he assassinated, he stalked and murdered a CEO on the sidewalks of New York, gunned him down, and became an immediate hero of the Democrat Party, quite literally. Democrat parents want their daughters to have sex with Luigi Mangione and maybe marry him in prison because he's a murderer, not in spite of the fact that he's a murderer, but because he's a murderer. Now, the Democrats have created Luigi the Musical. And I'm not making this up. This is true. I went to their website for Luigi the Musical, and that's the website, luigithemusical.info, so you can get your tickets. But here is the Luigi, and it's got a silhouette of Luigi murdering somebody. Luigi the Musical, sold out. Join the wait list. They've got a wait list because Democrats have bought all the tickets and are funneling money to Luigi the Musical. And again, this is a musical. I think maybe the original score might be by Hank Johnson because they've posted videos online, and we have gathered them up for you. Luigi Mangione, who's going to go to the electric chair for murder, and a ghastly plume of smoke will rise from his head. He's not really going to go to the electric chair, but it would be fun if he did. And the Democrats are going to try to run him for office or make him a professor at a major American university. Luigi the Musical is playing in San Francisco, a tale of love, murder, and hash browns. I love hash browns. The Democrats love murder. That's the thing about them. And here is a little slice of Luigi the Musical.
The cheapest room in Brooklyn, the cheapest room in Brooklyn, the cheapest room in Brooklyn is a cell.
Cheapest room in Brooklyn is a cell, a jail cell. They want to go to prison, I think. And the website has links here to all of the glowing reviews they've gotten by CNN and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and The Hill newspaper in Washington and Playbill and The Independent. They've got all kinds of Luigi the Musical reviews because the Democrat Party, boy, they take care of each other, don't they? Luigi the Musical in San Francisco, already sold out, don't have any more tickets left. All shows sold out. Little lightning bolts over. Join the wait list to be notified if tickets become available. June of 2025, Luigi the Musical. Isn't that wonderful? Started playing a week ago, according to the website. And they love murder. These people are the Soviet Union. They're mentally ill. They're psychopaths. They really are. All right, Michael, is that it for our Luigi? We have been talking about it, but there's such a bunch of wankers that we decided we weren't even going to play them talking about the musical. They don't sound very manly, though, do they? They're not all caught up in conventional notions of masculinity.
Their intention is really to explore thoughtfully what is happening and the kind of sensationalized nature about all the violence surrounding this and all of the media and hype. I think we've used art to tap into a really powerful place in society that people really are desperate to talk about in many different ways.
Murder. I'm beginning to think that the Democrat Party is truly demented. CNN with the glowing review, Luigi the Musical creators say the play is not what you expect. And then they go on to tell you how great it is and you want to go see it. Tickets, Taylor, sold out. Luigi the Musical at the Taylor Street Theater. Isn't that amazing? Luigi Mangione is now the subject of a musical. Isn't that great? All right, let us go to a telephone call, Michael, and talk to the nice people on this Friday. Let's go to Mike, calling from Middletown, New Jersey. Michael, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Thanks for taking my call, Chris. Love the show.
Thank you.
Hey, I think we ought to get Hank Johnson a little guitar tuner there because those are some flat strings, man. I mean, that's just brutal. It is a brutal rendition of Hey Joe.
He said it's his new guitar, too. He said he's got a new guitar, and you detect some in need of tuning, Hank Johnson.
Yeah, just a bit. A nice guitar, but a little flat on the string. The guitar tuner is really cheap.
It is a nice guitar, too, isn't it? It looks like a nice guitar. It's his brand new guitar. He's a member of Congress, the United States Congress, not some third world hellhole Congress, the United States Congress. A Democrat in good standing who's been reelected again and again and again. And hey, Trump, where are you going with that gun in your hand? Clever, clever. When these guys are rioted and burned and again, they murdered, I think, 24 people during the Black Lives Matter rallies, the riots, the violence everywhere. They shot and killed Ashley Babbitt on Capitol Hill. And who are you guys talking about? You guys have assassinated 3.5 presidents of the United States and shot 2 more Republicans. You guys should, where are you going with your gun in your hand? You shouldn't be. I think, honestly, Mike, I think Democrats should be prohibited from owning firearms in the United States. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. But, if he's going to go full on Jimi Hendrix, he should light the guitar on fire like Monterey.
That's true.
Go full on Jimmy, lighter fluid and everything.
Yeah, you got to squirt the lighter fluid and get your Zippo lighter. Everybody used Zippo lighters back then. Have you noticed that?
That's right. I mean, that's be perfect.
Because they worked.
The party would love him.
Yeah, Zippo lighters are the best, man. Those things work. That's a great American standard, the Zippo lighter. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix, you're right. Yeah, with the little Ronson lighter fluid that everybody used back then and squirting it over the guitar and lighting his guitar on fire, then smashing it up and stuff. But Jimmy, at least you could watch Jimi Hendrix play and listen to him sing, unlike Hank Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That is a bad impression. Oh, God.
And then he could probably join the band in Luigi the Musical, though.
He'd be perfect.
And they could get John Hinckley to play with them, too. Now I see the Democrat Party coming together. Now I really see them becoming something. Yeah, they are amazing. We live in extraordinary times, don't we, Michael?
We do, Chris. We do.
I got to tell you, the truth is a crazy place, just a crazy place. I come in to tell the truth and share the truth and the sad truth about the Democrat Party. Tragic. There it is. Mike, thank you for the call. Excellent and astute observations. And here's a little actual Hey Joe. Just to reset that in your brain so you're not stuck with the Hank Johnson version throughout the rest of the day.
I hate to hurt your ears and everything, but I'm just learning to play guitar.
The state of Massachusetts is run by Democrats who are pro-crime, pro-illegal alien gang members. And they're here to destroy the world. So keep voting for them, Democrats. Here is the Fall River Reporter out of Massachusetts, Gesundheit. And the headline is, Massachusetts spending $181,792 per year per family in the emergency shelter system. $181,792 per year per family. That breaks down to $13,984 per month. All right? That's for a family in Massachusetts. This is Democrats managing taxpayer dollars, managing money. I kid you not, I went to Al Gore's amazing internet. I went to apartments.com. I went to not Brockton, Mass., but right into downtown Boston, Massachusetts. And I cannot find a house for rent for $13,000 a month. You can find apartments all over Boston for $2,000 a month. You can $1,300 a month for a 3-bedroom place. You got a 1-bedroom for $2,600 a month. Nothing for $13,000 a month. But the Democrats, I think, might be stealing a lot of money, and that's fine. But the Fall River Reporter is actually covering this story. CBS will not. So the State Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, Massachusetts Emergency Shelter System, costs $3,496 per week per family, $1,000 per person per week. So $4,000 a month per person, $16,000 a month for a family of 4, because the government is fixing it. Nearly $14,000 per month, $182,000 per year per family. Now, you could be paying a mortgage for that family for $1 million house or more, and they don't. They're just, well, how shall I say, whizzing it away. Aren't they amazing? Your Democrat Party. Just extraordinary. Now, I don't have all the time in the world because I never do, but Chunk Todd has some kind of a podcast or something, and he just discovered that Joe Biden's brain was no good when he engaged in a presidential debate with President Trump, where he got all kinds of stuff wrong, and President Trump was mocking him and saying, I don't think even he knows what he said there. But Chunk Todd is confessing way too late that everybody knew Joe Biden's brain was broke.
I will go to my grave believing that the debate was intentional. For that. Anita Dunn and Jen O'Malley Dillon will deny it till they're blue in the face. They knew when the nomination was going to be, and they knew they needed to deal with this with an opportunity to make a change if it was necessary.
That is to deliberately squeeze Joe Biden out of the race by allowing him to debate Donald Trump, knowing that he would make a buffoon of himself. He had just traveled to Europe. He had traveled to California. He was real tired. His brain was no good. And they put him out there knowing that it would sink him because they really wanted Kamala Harris to become the president of the United States so that global thermonuclear war would break out.
I hate to hurt your ears.